I really didn't want to make this, but I have to. I'm doing this unscripted because I think it speaks for itself. When the most memorable thing about the community is how bad it is, and all the things that they've sort of said and done. Oh my god, this community is worse than World of Warcraft, and I've already been banned from both the forums and the subreddit for things that are not even related to WoW, which is kind of crazy to think about actually. These on to just why the Genshin Impact community is so bad, especially compared to others, and it's surprising given that it's technically a single player game. Single player online, I should say, actually. Always online. Disclaimer, I'm not talking about content creators, just to be clear, who themselves are hit and miss. Although some are thieves, I'll put that out there. Just talking about social media. It could be Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. Well, it's mainly Reddit, but it's also HoYoLab, which I think is the same as Reddit, to be honest. So the first thing that's wrong with this community and why it's so bad is I don't know what the term is, but it's like LGBTQIA phobic. And it's bad enough to the point where there was no action being taken against them. And I'll also mention here that the mods of the subreddit do not ban anyone for breaking rules or discriminating. And that's just crazy to think about, to be honest. Like, I get there's probably a lot of people reporting, but holy shit, the fact that things like this get through, it's crazy. Like, I've had plenty of furry phobes on there as well, with, as usual, like, there's bigoted reasons for the phobia. They haven't actually justified anything. And because they failed to do so, they're actually not going to change any minds. That's the problem there. It's also bad when you have innocent, like shipping is a common thing in anything, any form of fictional media. Can you even ship landscapes? I don't know. If you even dare make something involving two underage characters, underage being, I guess, minors, I mean, not like it's wrong, but I mean, like, there's a romantic preference, that's all I'll say. It's not sexual, it's romantic. Like, if a boy can't fall in love with a girl for who she is, and not like how she looks below, and, you know, I don't know if I said that right, my mind sort of blanked. The point there being, it's about romance, and I think if you take issue with the shipping, you do not belong in this community, because it's going to happen. Because Xingyun is a common ship, I think, a gay ship, because it's Xingqiu and Zhongyun, and they're both implied gay, I think, or at least queer, or Xingqiu is. Xingqiu is quite gender neutral. And it's quite obvious that they're close, like close friends, and I think that's why people ship them. Same with Amber and Eula. It just doesn't matter really. And the issue that people take with these ships apparently is the fact that they're gay. What? Why is that an issue? It makes no sense. That leads on to another thing, ironically. It's also about sexual preference, but of romantic preference as well, you know. Waifu supremacy. Even though the game has this issue, it's clear that the community has it as well. And I think it's also a problem that, you know, women also sort of fetishize husbandos. And, you know, making artwork for waifus, I think, is only perpetuating the stereotype. Because I've seen it a lot, us anime lovers or likers, and I don't know what you call us, watchers maybe. They say that we're paedophiles because we like these like, sort of attractive looking characters who are not like, I guess, hairy. I don't know what the term is, but they look super young. That's the point. And I think the waifu stuff only perpetuates that, but even then, the idea that people think anime lovers or watchers are paedophiles is also a bigoted view. It's not justified. It's not. There's no reason for it, basically. No reason behind it. But the waifu supremacy is still a problem because it sort of, again, it ties into that thing where people get obsessed about someone or something in a game. Well, I've seen people say that they would never play a male character in Genshin Impact because they only like waifus. It's like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? You've got great characters like Ito and, I think of another, maybe Arto, who's cool. But the point there is that you're just being a waifu supremacist. Like, you want them all to yourself and nobody to have them or something. As a result, it just dominates the game and it also dominates the community. With their countless artwork about fucking waifus. Also, there's been this trend on the subreddit which needs to be gone, where either the waifus are sexualized or there's just something else weird with it. Like maybe it's a dumb comic about lewd things. It's really creepy. For some reason you can't filter on Reddit. It's weird. The next thing is with the community is wanting to cheat at the Game Awards to get free Primo Gems, which is dishonest as hell. I saw this in r/gaming, which is actually a pretty neutral community. It's definitely got good posts, generally. I don't like the posts with people bragging about their setups. It's just dumb. Those need to be removed because it's not really gaming related. And someone on there posted about Genshin Impact players sort of looking to cheat the system at the Game Awards to get free Primo Gems. I never heard of this, but apparently it's true, and I think what might have happened is the subreddit and maybe a Hoyo lab. They're probably not censoring it, actually. But it probably does exist because it's like a minority of the community. The point there is that people are being so dishonest that they're making accounts to give Genshin Impact more, I don't know, votes. Yeah, it has to be votes. And that's just for the free Primo Gems in the game, which will only be like 10 pulls maybe, at most. It's not fucking worth it, especially when there's so many other better games out there. I've played Genshin Impact for 2 years now. And it's definitely one of the best games I've ever played, but fuck, it's got so many problems. But I'd never vote this game for Game of the Year when there's obviously so much more effort in a game that isn't predatory with its monetization and has, like, a good everything. I would consider Doom Eternal a Game of the Year. Whenever that came out, I forgot. Yeah, I'd never vote Genshin Impact over Doom Eternal. So that's just one annoying thing about it. I think the other thing with the community is that a lot of the people have given up complaining about the issues that the game inherently has. One of them being the lack of resin. Which, yeah, even now it started to catch me off guard because I sort of have to log in twice a day to sort of catch up with it, make sure I get all my resin spent. So it's like min-maxing, which you sort of have to do in Genshin Impact. I suppose I'm actually at a point where I don't have anything to grind, but other than artifacts, but it's weird. The resin problem has always been there. And they first even promised to increase it at one point and didn't do it. It's like, what? Hello? Frustrating as hell, and the worst thing about this community in that regard is how they've stopped talking about it. They joke about resinless behaviour like it's supposed to be accepted, but it's not good. Like, we want to be playing the game more, I definitely do, especially because of your investment in the game, and actually the trading card game is actually bad for that reason. It would be good to have as a side activity, but not good as in it fulfills that gameplay urge that we have for what is an inherently fun game anyway. The other thing with the community is the terrible artifact RNG. People have again stopped talking about this, but there's also been toxicity around it, as in people want you to have good artifacts, otherwise you're just going to be condemned. I remember once when it was around the first Golden Apple Archipelago, I found bugs with Magu Kenki where you couldn't complete his challenge. And I posted a video on Reddit where I asked if people could tell me where I went wrong with the challenge, like how I failed. And people just began commenting like, why is my damage so terrible to you, Luke? What do you mean? So apparently, and I didn't notice because I did sort of focus on artifacts, but apparently after 3 months of grinding you're supposed to get the artifacts you want. So my 10k damage is 3 months of artifact grinding, and the community would just say no, that's not the damage you should be getting. And some would go as far to say like an arsehole or a bigot or something like that, because you haven't got the artifacts to make you perform like the meta. Yeah, people have actually said that, and the mods also did nothing about them. There's also no rules about that, like the meta slaving shit, I don't know what you call it. Toxicity basically. But because I didn't play the meta, people were mad, and it only took another 2 months of grinding to get the artifacts I needed. It's just not fun. It's just made me second guess about posting there. And this next thing happened today. Oh boy. The comment is in the thumbnail, if you're curious. I didn't bother censoring the name because fuck you. You're just an asshole, a child exploiting son of a cunt. I don't know. It's just absurd that I even read this. Like, I screenshot it right away. Deleted or not, that's just going to be solidified. Now it's archived, I guess. People will see it. So the gacha. It's obviously a controversial topic, but it shouldn't be because it's obviously bad. It's one of the greediest things I've ever fucking seen. And yeah, I haven't played many gachas, but this is my first. And this is still greedy. But this subreddit comment from this idiot is just one of the most delusional takes I've ever seen on the gacha. They said it's not gambling because you're guaranteed a character after 180 pulls. How much is 180 pulls in money? It's about £200. Yeah. So if you want one character and you're really unlucky, you'll have to spend about £200 to get it. Or grind about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, maybe more. It's absurd. I can't believe I read a comment like that. Like the calculations I just said, they're justifying it as a guaranteed reward thing was by that user. And the thing is it disregards the thing that it is, the gacha is. The gacha is gambling at a fundamental level. It doesn't change that it is gambling, the fact that you can get a guaranteed character. Plus, having guaranteed chances are equivocal. Like, you can't even say, if you spend like £10,000 on the lottery, you can definitely get a £10,000 prize, but like, what? What's even the point? Like, if you have the chance to lose that money, there's still gambling. It's a bad example, but it's also immoral just to have gambling. You're still rolling for a chance to get a character. You're not rolling to get a character. There's a difference because the word chance is in there. If you remove the word chance, then that's obviously good. Because there's a chance, that's the problem. And another way to equivocate, I guess, is like, let's use a real life example. You can win a car that's worth £200 in real life by gambling. That you pay for a raffle ticket maybe or something. But if you spend like £400 for raffle tickets, you're guaranteed it. Whatever amount of raffle tickets that is. If you just spent £400 for a £200 car, it makes no sense. And your money would have been better spent trying to get that car like elsewhere. It's just so dumb. Something being guaranteed in a system with gambling is still gambling. Like, again, there's the presence and non-presence of words. Those are important. The fact RNG is mentioned in the game a lot is also a problem with the game, because it has RNG, and RNG just isn't fun. So yeah, I think that's it for the subreddit side of things. Although there is a bit more to talk about. The other thing is, as if it wasn't bad enough with this community, Ivy Lab's own social media sort of thing is terrible. It's filled with children. I try to look at the memes on there, whatever posts or maybe artwork, and they're terrible. It's also coming into some of the problems above, like the discrimination, waifu supremacy. It's also immature. I've just seen a lot of posts and like, they sound like 12-year-old humour. I don't know, like Raiden Booba versus Zhongli Pillar. You have to be really immature to post something like that. It just makes the community really bad. And Genshin Impact shouldn't even be a game for children even. It definitely needs to be 18 plus rated, or maybe 15 at least. The content in the game don't even make sense to make it be a game for 12-year-olds and up. So I think the last thing to talk about is game tribalism. I think this term was coined by a YouTuber called Breach Gaming, who I used to watch, and I have issues with him, but I think this is one of the smartest things he's ever said. And it's true. Like, a game tribalism, to define it, is when you're prepared to die on a hill for a game, and also condemn others. It's almost cult-like, I guess. The point there is that people just die for a game that they love, and it is unhealthy. Unfortunately, I've never really experienced that, to be honest. It's weird because I'm technically more vulnerable to that because of my autism. But I just don't care. I love The Witcher 3 to pieces, but I wouldn't even challenge people's negative reviews. Wouldn't even call them out unless they're badly worded or just not explained. I've actually agreed with negative reviews on The Witcher. But the game tribalists would pretty much die on the hill saying that you're wrong. This actually happened with Breath of the Wild, actually, a game that I actually hate. That is really inaccessible. It's just not fun. And people, for some reason, want to criticise people who criticise that game. It's bizarre, but it's definitely game tribalism. Like, you're at a spear point, for lack of a better term, at the point of a spear, for just saying that. Like, you're about to be killed for something you shouldn't have done or say. And it's the sort of thing that most big communities do anyway, but it's just so bad in Genshin Impact. It's like that Reddit comment. It's just someone bending over backwards for Hoyo versus greedy tactics. And it's unjustified greedy tactics, I should add. Again, this is like what I mean by the presence and non-presence of words. The wording is important. There hasn't been any justification for the gacha. And nobody's provided any. And the fact it doesn't even come from Hoyo versus mouth even, it just lends more credibility to the opposition, as usual. Because of course the opposition has stronger evidence, I guess. That's enough on that though, fuck. My throat's starting to hurt a bit. I'm not used to speaking, obviously because of my speech issues. It's been rough. Just hope that Genshin Impact has something wrong with it at some point. So people would stop playing it and the community would dissipate, I guess. Just so inherently bad. But there's definitely been points where I've considered quitting the game even now. Because of these idiot people in the community. Even then, there's nice people in the community. They mainly hang around in their questions thread, I think. And there may be lurkers like me who don't really comment much. It's just bad. There's something that needs to be done about this community. That's for sure.